Good. So welcome everybody. I am giving this talk about the history of Fragmenter and where it is now or something like that. So let me start. So Fragmenter is this application you know about because you are here. So this is this sort of unique animation application. And its history goes back to the sand animations of Ferenc Szakó, whom I liked a lot. And I wanted to imitate it. I mean, that is the philosophy, not really the visuals, but like how you create something with sand animation, doing it in a digital way, sort of. So like in a line animation on the computer to do the same kind of, I don't know, immediate result stuff. In any case, so in 2006, there was the first version which I programmed in Flash, Action Street, but it was very basic, no loop layer. There was only this infinite drawing. You can see an example there. But already like the concept of tail length appeared and sort of you could do this whiteboard animation style stuff in it. And it could save a file and play it back in a different application.
I have a question. Sorry.
Yes.
Can you explain the concept of tail length?
Yeah, so this tail length is that like in Fragmenter you are drawing, but only like you see like the last few, I don't know, seconds of your drawing in some sense. And I mean, in a loop layer, it comes back. So you're always like reappearing. And if it's not a loop layer, but sort of an infinite layer, then it just disappears and never comes back. So basically it's like it's like painting with water and it's drying at some speed. So it's something like that. Anyway, we will see more examples of how Fragmenter works. So if you don't know it, then maybe you will like get more hang of it later. Okay, so I was still interested in this whole concept. And when I learned about processing, I like this programming language or this whole like stuff. So I made a new iteration in processing, and it was actually even more basic maybe than the previous one, but it was in some sense it was different because there was this loop layer maybe, and it was pressure sensitive, which I really wanted to be with like tablets, and it had some colors. There is an example video where you don't see colors, but any case, it worked like that. And then in 2012, I was interested in making applications like that work on a tablet and maybe on a phone. And so I found this Gideros framework, and I made a new iteration of Fragmenter on it. And yes, sorry. So it had already everything like in a basic way what I wanted. So it has like a one frame layers and loop layers and infinite layers, and now it was sort of frame based. So every loop was like a fixed length of layer frames, and it was going around. So the previous iterations were sort of like they didn't have this concept in some sense. It's hard to explain, but in any case, this was sort of like the beginning of now. And I put a version on Amazon App Store, and I mean, actually the free version was downloaded quite a lot of times, I mean, compared to my expectations. But at some point, like as you can see on the right side, there is the mobile like interface, and on the bottom there is that was not the initial one, but a bit later, the interface for tablets, and I wanted that it's sort of small that you can draw on most of it, so it's not obstructing your view, because on a tablet, it's very important that you have only one screen. In any case, in the following years, there was many new features. For example, I added symmetries, which like made it possible to draw like a bit, and it's immediately have a big effect on what you see on the screen, like a mandala style animations. And then it started that people started to use Fragmenter on like VJ parties, like Diego and Ben and others came into this scene sort of. So in 2016, like there was already like a library management. You could like, I mean, in the first iteration, if I go back one scene, you can see that there is on the tablet screen, there is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you had like 9 slots where you could save stuff. And in this library management, you could save into separate files as much as you want. And there was this frame by frame animation. So you could stop the animation and draw on like one given frame and go back and forth on the timeline. and such. And that was enough, good enough that Diego, I mean, there were still a lot of limitations, but Diego was clever enough to get over these limitations and make a very nice music video for Rhodes tennis court. I hope I'm spelling it right. So let me show you a small part of it, some part which I like best. Yeah, so you could see the frame by frame animations here and some of these loops as well. And so let me go further. And in 2017, Ben made this Xenos Zenism exhibition, and he wanted to have a modified version of Fragmenter exhibited. And that was pretty cool because it sort of motivated me to get around some limitations and finally make like that you can have a projection window in Fragmenter, which was really needed, but that's like clearly desktop something. So on Android, that's, I mean, usually you don't have a second screen. So that's where it was sort of like the motivation or like Fragmenter was going towards being a desktop application for Windows and Mac. And in 2019, it had this projection window, even it had some effects like pixelate and like glitch and other stuff, and it can be extended further. Like the symmetries were much more elaborate, not just central symmetry, but others. And this MIDI input is also nice. And again, people were using it. There is one example, this Baylor Bay concert 2019. I will show a small example. It's not the best music-wise, but at least you see the audience and the band and the Fragmenter at the same time in this part. So that's why I show this small part. The screening was on the top of a tent, like the ceiling of a tent. Okay, so this was sort of a warm-up like visually, but you could see where it was projected, and like it was a really nice event. And so 2019, I made a better homepage, and like Fragmenter was possible to download for free easily. And in 2022, like it was released on itch.io, where you can download it like even more conveniently. And at the same time, the user interface was redesigned with these like desktop first intention in mind, and it's now sort of much easier to handle, and it doesn't want to be that minimal anymore, because the concept is that you anyway have a projection window and you can switch on off the windows like it's like a multi-window user interface easily. And these MIDI features are also being more capable. So let me show you an example where you can see like the interface, how it looks like, and what the MIDI stuff can do, like some mild example. So you can associate like properties of the project with these buttons of the MIDI keyboard or the keys themselves. I am just in the video, I am assigning some so-called rules, and then you can control which frame is visible, for example, among others. now I'm assigning a new rule that the other side of the keyboard is controlling the resolution of the pixelate effect, or maybe not the resolution, but like how rounded the pixels are. No, the size of the pixels, yes. Okay, so you could see the pixelate effect has many properties as well, so that was good for that. And so let's go further to the close to today. Like there were like more events, like there were two at the French Institute, like there was a concert by Ben and Wasim, where Balázs Turai was making the visuals, and more recently there was a workshop again at the French Institute where with this Geek Műhely, we were doing some, like they were building things together with children, and then the children could draw with Fragmenter and project it on this object, and there is this specific object. And that was a nice sort of thing that you can project not only on a wide screen, but on anything with Fragmenter, which is a nice opportunity, I think. And so let me talk something about the future. So now there are some new features like in the works, like the panning and zooming of the camera and the stage, and the frame-by-frame animation tools are still improved. And the MIDI rules you can save, and the palettes. And so, I mean, you have more freedom on how to use them, and there are many new ideas what to do, and I'm slowly progressing and making Fragmenter more user-friendly and more useful for people who like to use it. So thanks for listening, and there are some references of, if you want to know more about Fragmenter, then you can check out the homepage, whose link is there, and also the itch.io page where you can download it. And thanks for your attention, and thanks for all of my friends who were doing this stuff together with me with Fragmenter, because without them, I think it would be worthless to work on this software. So, and I hope there will be more people using it in the future. Okay, thank you.